mean, we've seen all kinds of ideas we would have put 75% of our net worth in.
Warren, there have been times in my life when I've had more than 100% of my net worth invested in things.
That's because you had a friendly banker, and I didn't. No, there have been times. Well, initially I had several times I had 75% of my net worth in one situation. There are situations you will see over a long period of time. I mean, you will see things that it would be a mistake if you're working with smaller sums. It would be a mistake not to have half your net worth in. I mean, you really do sometimes in securities see things that are lead pipe cinches, and you're not going to see them often, and they're not going to be talking about them on television or anything of the sort. But there will be some extraordinary things happen in a lifetime where you can put 75% of your net worth or something like that in a given situation. The problem has been the guys that have put 500% of their net worth in. I mean,
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining today's stream. Today we have your co-host, Anthony, the HOVR evangelist, Wikipedia. He knows all about HOVR. And we also have another Wikipedia HOVR man, Death Smiles. Thank you for joining us, special guest today. Also, he was on last week, had a killer rant about HOVR and why it is a great company. And we have quite some more to share about that this week. So glad to have you on. And yeah, thank you, boys, for joining. And thank you, everyone else, for joining today. Yeah, sorry about being a little late on the live. We have quite an agenda and going all around places, but we're going to get to it. So we have some aviation news to get to. There's some stuff always in aviation. It's quite interesting. If you guys don't like that, let me know. We'll maybe start excluding that. We have some HOVR stuff to talk about, of course, with Death Smiles. We have some Garlic Epiphany HOVR stuff with Anthony. Some little thing about robots we'll discuss. And I guess a lot of other little bite-sized news we'll get to. So, yeah, and site of the week. So very fun stuff. And, yeah, this was your intro. I guess we'll get started with, well, I guess before aviation news. How are you guys doing? Anything new? In general, have you guys bought more HOVR shares this week, maybe?
Me, I have not bought more HOVR. I'm at 50,000 shares, and now I'm into do things that normal people do with their money so that I can keep my HOVR right where it is so I don't get into an emergency situation, anything like that. But yeah, real excited for this week. Who knows? We might get the information on the institutional backer and any other fun things they've been doing there at the Horizon Aircraft. Very, very happy about this.
Death Smiles, anything with you?
No, I'm just enjoying, the latest news and all the new investors that have been coming in. It's been great. I mean, it's been a bit of a headache on the Reddit lately, and I'm sorry to everybody that's on that Reddit and has been for a while, and thank you all for putting up with kind of the chaos over the last week, and I look forward to a lot of new investors coming in here, so I'm hopefully that we've got it situated now and things will be under control going forward. But pretty interesting week, been a lot of excitement, a lot of chaos. And there's a lot of new stuff to go over, so I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Shout out to everyone joining us. Big Daddy always joining us. Glad to see you here. Mark is not joining today, but he will when he can next time. DC, what's up? The eagle is in the nest. Is that a saying for like we are here? I'm not sure what that means, but hey there. Paul O'Brien, good to see you guys, all the usuals. I'm not too familiar with you. Analytical Visionary says, I bought HOVR under 50 cents, sold it when it was mooning. Wow, that's a great play. But now he has only a small bag, so maybe you should start loading up soon. Let's see, Rezo, what's up, Rezo? He's always here. He's been here for the last, all the live streams. Glad to see you. Oh, he just added some more. Awesome. And Joe Bosher from the UK. Oh, wow. Awesome. He's staying up late to watch this. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Also, real quick, shout out to our sponsors, Bright Cat Data. Bright Cat Data is a Canadian real estate intelligence company. Go to brightcatdata.com and check them out. Also, we have Celebrity Diamonds 305. Go to Celebrity Diamonds 305 and you can get your real custom jewelry. They sell anything from diamonds to gold. Custom made jewelry, really cool stuff. Honestly, I gotta get him to show me some examples, and maybe I'll present you guys some videos, some really cool stuff. It'd be awesome if he can make a cool piece of like a Cavaret X7 as like a jewelry piece. That'd be sick. Maybe we can auction it off or something. Whoever, I wonder if anyone would be interested in that. But anyways, Vaz 28. Is this Vaz from what's that channel? Hey,
Martin Lucas Investor, Vaz, and Sensei.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah, Martin Lucas Investor. Oh, what's up, Vaz? I didn't know he's checking us out. Cool. So yeah, we have some hover stuff to go over. Got a lot of things. I'm all over the place. So we went over the sponsors. Let's go into aviation news real quick, and then we'll get into some hover. So
Cool.
We have, as usual in aviation, only crashes, only bad things happen. There's no new things. Like in eVTOLs, we have always new innovations. In aviation, it's really only crashes. But this one was quite amazing to see, actually. I don't know if you guys got to check this out. This happened like 4 days ago.
Easy.
So this person literally lands. This is a amphibious aircraft landing on the road. He's literally parked on the road. Luckily, he survived. Everything is well. Nobody died. There was no one hurt at all. But it's just quite a thing to see, an airplane landing on the road, and he has no landing gear because it's amphibious, I guess. So that's what happened. Quite a sight. I'm just gonna play this so you guys can see. Did you
Good
guys
thing it's GoPro. Good thing his GoPro didn't get knocked off. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to document this amazing landing. You know.
That is true. This is quite rare because not all of crashes are documented. Yeah, so this was just quite a thing to see. And then there's probably some other really big news that you have seen or heard of. But this one, unlike the other one, wasn't documented because, regular planes just don't use GoPros. So this was, there really only news talking about it, but 11 passengers were rescued off of the Atlantic Ocean after a plane crash. You can see this small little, I don't know, it looks like a Gulf Stream, I guess. I'm not too sure. I'm probably wrong about that. But this small little plane crash just out of Florida here, actually pretty close to me. Is this the footage? No. Oh, this is footage of the Coast Guard rescuing them. And yeah, everything was well. It was just really big news in aviation this week. So just something to note if you guys didn't know. Keeping you guys updated with what's going on in the aviation news. Oh, sorry. This is quite annoying. I need to figure out how to default the cameras. So we said we're doing one new thing better each week to improve the live stream, right? First of all, I'm here in a different background setup. I've actually never been here. I have all my Tesla stuff here. Pretty cool. I don't know if I should share that. Maybe a different time and grab them all, but I have a bunch of cool Tesla stuff. I'm a big Tesla fan. And yeah, we made some other small changes. We changed the font of the entire bit at the bottom here. If I turn my camera off, now I have my photo there that wasn't there. So small little incremental changes. And the idea is within many, many live streams, we will have a very big difference. Actually, right now, I already checked, if you go to past live streams, if you go to like one of the first ones, we're at what, 41, episode 41. I mean, this is a completely different setup than what we had. So yeah, let's see. Also the chat is on the side here. I don't know if you guys like that, but I'm also streaming on X now. So we have YouTube and X comments, but not really much from X. But I don't know if that's a thing I might remove. But yeah. Anyways, let's move on. That's enough about.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, I don't know if I should let you guys know, but it keeps me accountable if I have to let you guys know what I'm actually changing, and that's the idea. We'll have some incremental improvements. So let's get to hover news, like everyone's probably waiting for. We got a guy in the UK not going to sleep because he's probably waiting to hear about hover, especially from Death Smiles. He has been dropping bombs lately, and he has some more for us, so we're excited. Where should we get started? I know it says here de Havilland connection, but there's probably some backtracking we need to do. Let me know if there's anything you want me to share on screen whenever, but yeah, Death Smiles, go ahead. What do you have for us today?
Okay. Well, today I want to do a little something different. Instead of focusing, only on the short-term price action, we've had some volatility the last couple weeks, or the latest filings. I kind of want to zoom out and discuss what might actually be developing underneath the surface over the next 5 to 10 years. Because in my opinion, the real story surrounding Horizon Aircraft is becoming much bigger than simply whether or not Cavorite X7 succeeds technically. The bigger story may be the industrial ecosystem that appears to be forming around the exact category of aerospace technology Horizon is attempting to commercialize. So when you start connecting the dots between Canadian aerospace policy, manufacturing infrastructure, energy expansion, OEM relationships, patent positioning, and long-term industrial timelines, the picture starts becoming really interesting from a long-term standpoint. Now, I want to say before we really dive into this, nothing I'm discussing here is confirmation of any future partnership. Nothing here is any insider information. And none of this guarantees success. This is a macro level strategic thesis discussion based on observable developments, industrial relationships, timelines, and infrastructure currently being built today. But when you look at all the moving pieces together, there appears to be like this very significant convergence forming underneath the surface. So why is Horizon maybe different from the other stories? Well, one thing I think many investors still underestimate is how different Horizon architecture actually is compared to much of the eVTOL space. First of all, we're not an eVTOL. We're a VTOL. We're not full electric. We've always been hybrid. Everybody's pivoting to hybrid now. We're not pivoting. We're not backtracking. We've always been laser focused moving forward, right? We took a different route. The X7 is pursuing a hybrid electric transition architecture that attempts to solve several major bottlenecks simultaneously: the range, the payload, the speed, the operational practicality, and the real world regional mobility, right? And importantly, the aircraft maintains a far more conventional operational appearance once in cruise flight compared to many other competing concepts. That matters commercially, because adoption in aerospace often favors systems that integrate more naturally into existing operational infrastructure, right? Now, combine that with the fact that Horizon appears to have secured meaningful intellectual property around portions of its architecture early on in the cycle. And that brings us into one of the more fascinating parts of my discussion, the patent positioning and kind of the GE aerospace angle. Now, this is where the story starts getting deeper than most people realize. There were patent attempts associated with GE aerospace that appeared to overlap conceptually with portions of the transition flight architecture space that Horizon had already secured the IP on. Now, again, this isn't accusing anybody of copying something. It's not a claim of theft. I'm not saying GE was trying to swoop in and Horizon, got in there before them or anything like that. But what it appears to be observable is that multiple sophisticated aerospace engineering groups were exploring the same categories and concepts of next generation aircraft at the same time. And in at least some instances, Horizon appears to have secured patent priority earlier. Now that matters enormously because this aerospace IP is one of the more valuable strategic assets in the industry, especially when you start discussing the distributed propulsion, the transition flight, embedded lift systems, hybrid electric architecture, fan integration, aerodynamic transition stability, and advanced wing configurations. They're not niche concepts, right? These are potential future aviation platform categories. And when major institutional players begin to appear around adjacent patents in that territory, it often signals something extremely important. Now, I've had the patent research up on the site I did a year ago for quite some time. It's in the investor package. You can go through them and check them all out yourself. And if you want to go back through my profile, you might even be able to dig back far enough and find the GE patents. But when the engineering space itself that may have a strategic long-term value, now that's where a lot of the investors misunderstand the aerospace industry. When a larger aerospace companies explores the adjacent technology, that does not automatically mean that they're in direct competition. Very often through, what that means is it evolves through layered industrial ecosystems. So one company develops the airframe architecture. Another develops propulsion systems. Another develops the generator. Another does the electric motors. Another does avionics. Another does the manufacturing infrastructure. That's how modern aerospace scaling frequently works. I mean, that's just how it's done. And that opens the door to a much larger strategic possibility surrounding Horizon aircraft. Now, the possible OEM pathways and future industrial participation that might come of this, like what future industrial scaling could realistically look like if Horizon succeeds. Now, again, this is all like strategic modeling, right? It's not confirming anything. But if the X7 reaches certification and commercial viability, Horizon eventually faces a major challenge, right? How do you scale this awesome X7 into manufacturing it efficiently and quickly? Because designing an aircraft and mass producing an aircraft are two completely different worlds, right? And this is where larger industrial relationships potentially become very, very important. Okay, so now, for example, Pratt and Whitney, right? That's all perfectly public information. They're supplying our engine. It's officially announced. That alone is very significant. Now, Pratt and Whitney has historically maintained extremely deep and sticky relationships across Canadian aerospace manufacturing ecosystems, including long-standing relationships connected to de Havilland programs over multiple decades. I mean, this is a long-term, sticky relationship, right? So now, let's expand that whole lens further. Could future industrial partners contribute higher output generator systems, electric propulsion subsystems, wing integrated motor systems, advanced power management, or specialized aerospace manufacturing capabilities? Absolutely possible. Could companies like GE Aerospace eventually participate not as a direct aircraft competitor, but instead as an industrial subsystem contributors or OEM suppliers, right? It's entirely plausible that they just contribute and they're an OEM supplier in the long-term picture. Now, that possibility becomes even more interesting when you consider GE's massive expertise in aviation electrical systems, industrial manufacturing, generator technology, advanced materials, aerospace scale engineering, and power infrastructure. In other words, the bigger opportunity here may not necessarily be who competes with Horizon, right? The big question may become who eventually participates around Horizon if the platform succeeds. Because aerospace at scale becomes an ecosystem. Now, why does de Havilland matter so much? Now let's move on to what may be the most important piece of the entire long-term thesis, right? De Havilland Field. This is not simply another airport project. Not at all. This is 1,500 acres of land fully being developed for manufacturing, certification, testing, research and development, school programs, college programs. I mean, everything. Government backed by Canada, right? So Canada is pushing this facility. Well, by coincidence, they just happen to have a groundbreaking ceremony on that site on Friday the 15th, just 2 days ago. Now, I've been looking and following this project for about 3 or 4 years now. This project is substantial. It's just substantial. This is one of the largest scale aerospace industrial ecosystems being developed in Alberta with substantial governmental and industrial support. The vision appears much larger than basic runway infrastructure, with an expected online date of late 2029 to 2030. This facility is going to be up and running and ready to rock and roll, right? With a huge amount of the portion of this facility dedicated to future expansion and aerospace industrial, right? So we're talking about future manufacturing capability, MRO operations, training, testing, supplier integration, logistics, future aerospace expansion, and long-term industrial development. Now start asking yourself this. If Horizon succeeds commercially, where exactly does this production expansion happen? Because scaling aircraft manufacturing requires far more additional much far more than additional space or additional warehouse space. You don't need to just expand the hangar you're in on some little small airport, right? You need full runway access. You need testing infrastructure. You need specialized aerospace labor. You need supplier networks, industrial zoning, advanced logistics, government support, energy capacity, and long-term planning. Now, that's exactly the type of ecosystem that de Havilland Field appears to be attempting to create. I should even say appear. That's the ecosystem they are in the process of creating. And this is where the timeline convergence becomes absolutely fascinating to me on the long-term thesis. Now, we're not talking about the flip tomorrow or the flip in a month or the flip in a year. We're talking 5 to 10 year time frame here, right? So, because portions of this expected maturation timeline for de Havilland Field appear to align extremely close with the period where Horizon's basically going to flip the switch theoretically, and they'll require significant production expansion capacity if commercialization succeeds later this decade. Right? It could be as early as 2029, 2028. Now, they won't necessarily pivot right into that manufacturing facility, right? We might need to start somewhere small and we pump out 5 or 10 and hey, we need to work with Mitsubishi and we need to work with Bombardier or whomever that's local right in our neighborhood for now. But when the time comes, moving our base of operations to de Havilland Field, in my opinion, just makes sense. So the timing overlap is just extremely difficult to ignore with this space, right? Now, let's bring in the Canadian government strategy. Let's go over the bigger picture, right? Canada appears to be positioning itself very intentionally around future aerospace and advanced manufacturing capabilities. And honestly, that makes strategic sense, right? Countries increasingly understand that next generation aerospace may become one of the defining industrial sectors of the coming decades. Just like semiconductors became strategic, right? Just like EV manufacturing became strategic. I apologize, I'm getting a little parched. Advanced aviation may become another globally competitive industrial category, right? And Horizon fits this directly into several strategic themes governments tend to support. And you've seen this. We're getting grant money. We're getting it for research and development. They're pushing this program, right? They support advanced manufacturing. They support high-skilled employment. They support domestic aerospace capabilities, a cleaner transportation system, regional mobility innovation, and industrial technology leadership. At the same time, projects like de Havilland Field support broader national objectives, industrial growth, aerospace revitalization, supply chain resiliency, and domestic manufacturing expansions, right? Governments do not simply support one company. That's not how this works, right? They support the entire ecosystem. And that appears to be exactly what is developing here. Now, the energy infrastructure side that most investors are ignoring here, because here we are, we're building a field at de Havilland, right? We're talking about possibly expanding here and expanding there. Well, you can't just magically build a building and expect to have enough power there. I've been doing this a long time. I've been building for a long time, right? So now here's the layer of my thesis that I think almost nobody is paying attention to at all. The large-scale advanced manufacturing requires enormous energy infrastructure. Building a factory is one thing. Talking about building a factory is one thing. Pretending like we might end up in a factory is one thing, right? But getting the infrastructure in place so that factory can operate is very, very critical. So, large-scale manufacturing requires enormous energy, especially future manufacturing. Think about what modern aerospace production increasingly involves: advanced composites, robotics, automation, AI-assisted manufacturing, high-precision machining, battery systems, electrical propulsion systems, large-scale industrial fabrication. Now, that's not low-power industrial activity, right? Now, bring in GE Vernova. Bring them into the discussion now, right? And a broader Canadian push surrounding the small modular reactor. The reactor's development and the industrial energy planning. Again, now this is not saying anything about Horizon is directly connected to this company, directly connected to that company. I am just trying to open everybody's eyes to the big picture, and so they can see all these different elements are in play at the exact same time. And all the dates line up to be at the exact same time. X7, 2030. De Havilland Field, 2030. GE Vernova modular reactors all online, 2030. Hello, wake up. Just a second. Okay.
Good theory.
Now, what is notable is that Canada appears to be simultaneously preparing advanced manufacturing infrastructure, future aerospace corridors, and long-term energy expansion capacity. You need to put all of this together when you look at Horizon Aircraft. This isn't Joby. This isn't Archer. This isn't a air taxi service. This is real. Now, because industrial revolutions happen when the energy infrastructure, manufacturing technology, government policy, and all this converge at the same time, right? That's your big industrial revolution. And right now, Canada appears to be laying out multiple pieces of that foundation at the same time with the same projected dates. Wake up. So, why the timelines matter more than people realize? I feel like I've kind of hammered the table enough on that, but I'll finish up my little speech and we'll keep going. If Horizon successfully progresses through certification and commercialization over the next several years, and if broader aerospace manufacturing infrastructure projects mature toward the end of the decade, right? We're talking 5 to 10 year thesis here, guys. We're long. I've been in here 2 years. I ain't fucking going anywhere because of this. Then you potentially have multiple independent macro trends converging simultaneously. Next generation aircraft commercialization, advanced manufacturing expansion, industrial energy growth, and a North American supply chain rebuilding. That convergence window is where the thesis becomes extremely powerful. Because sometimes the largest investment opportunities occur when seemingly unrelated infrastructure timelines all suddenly intersect into one strategic industrial cycle. This is the A-team, guys. There's a plan coming together. Mm-hmm. And right now, that is exactly what seems to be happening. Now, the real questions investors should be asking. I think many investors are still asking the wrong question, frankly. You guys are all going, I just got in and hey, this guy in China is saying, hey, we should flip it at the pop and buy it on the way to. You're insane. You're crazy. You sell this on a pop, you might be losing your opportunity to hold a piece of a lifetime dream. Those institutions might just very well step in and snatch every single share you dump into that volatility, and you can kiss that goodbye. And yeah, maybe you get back in at double, and maybe you still make a great chunk of money, because we do have a long way to go, guys. We do. I'm honest. But in my opinion, it's not worth the risk. When you go to flip something, you have to be right not once, but twice. Now, to hold it and look at what we have going right now, there's no having to be right. There's just having to wait and see. Mm-hmm. See how this plays out, right? So the market keeps asking, can Horizon build one aircraft? But the bigger strategic question here might actually be, what happens if Horizon secures a commercial viable next generation aircraft architecture at the exact same time North America begins rebuilding advanced aerospace manufacturing ecosystems? Because if those timelines all converge successfully, which it appears they are, the upside implications become dramatically larger than what most of the market currently appears to understand. At that point, Horizon may no longer simply be viewed as a speculative small cap aerospace. Yeah, hey man, I agree. It's been a fucking ride. I've been here for 2 years. There was a point where it was blind faith a little bit. And I had to keep digging just to keep my cool, right? I'm not going to lie. When we had the Christmas of 2024 pop, I sold half of my position. I was scared. And when it went back down, I reacquired it. And as the news started to come out and more conviction grew, I went from having this as, a tiny little piece, I'm going to throw $100 at it one day, to, I have 10 grand in it now. And it's, now it's 10% of my portfolio, to last summer, I sold off my Celestica. I sold off my Rolls Royce. I sold off my Canadian energy services. I sold off 3 plays that I had made great money on in a year and a half. Great money. I had tripled on or doubled to tripled on a couple of them and almost 6 times on Celestica. Celestica was a bull. That thing would not give up, man. And I took everything I earned on those. Everything. And I put it all on HOVR, bro. 100%. Because once I got finished researching everything, and I look at Warren Buffett and I look at these other investors that have made it big by making very, very smart decisions on small caps. This is the one I see as the golden goose. And I've said that to everybody I see in person at least 1,000 times. It's a little chick right now. It's growing. It's growing. Eventually it becomes the bird. Once the bird starts to be seen by everybody and everybody starts noticing it, it's going to start laying egg after egg after egg. And it's the golden goose, guys. It's the one investment in my mind and in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion. I'm not telling anybody else what they should or shouldn't do, man. If you think that this is just insane, then do your thing. Turn this off. Don't watch. But I'm got 99.9% of my portfolio in this now. I have that much conviction. I have just as much conviction as that guy was sitting next to Warren Buffett in the first flip, right? Warren Buffett saying, "Oh, I've been up at 75% in some of mine." Well, and the other guy was like, "Oh, I'm going to 9,900." Yeah, I'm the 9,900 guy. I don't got as much money as the other dude. So I want compounding. I want long-term gains. I want 100 grand to be 10 million or 100 million 10 or 20 years down the road. I'm not looking to make 20 bucks tomorrow, bro. I'm not looking to make 10 grand in a few months. I'm looking to retire. I'm looking at in 20 years, I'm going to have a fraction of one of the most successful aerospace companies with one of the most innovative designs on the planet. So back into my speech.
Awesome. By the way, that guy was Charlie Munger. He just died last year at age 100 years old. So long life.
Oh no, there is more. I gotta go some more. I got a little closing and then that's it. So now again, none of this stuff I'm saying guarantees any success. The company still needs to execute. The aircraft still needs to be certified. Commercialization still needs to happen. But what I believe investors really should absolutely be paying attention to and opening their eyes to right now is the infrastructure being built underneath the surface right now. Because sometimes the market only focuses on the plane, right? While the real story here, the real story is the ecosystem quietly forming around it. And if these timelines continue converging the way they currently appear to be, the next decade for Canadian aerospace could look dramatically different than most people expect. That's the end of my speech. Thank you, everybody, for listening to everything. I love you all. Go HOVR.
Yep.
I'd like to point out some comments, and maybe even Dead Smiles can answer.
I'd love to. I need a little more sip of my coffee here. And
yeah, you pumped them up. How to Flooring says.
Hey, I'm not trying to pump this guy either. This is not pumping it.
No,
this is
of course.
Diligence, and I just want you to realize what it is.
He's having an emotional reaction.
He says he
I
makes
don't
me
want
want
you
to
guys
triple.
posting. how much you're making on the stock. I don't want you to tell everybody that you got in at $1. This isn't FOMO time, guys. Let's talk about the real picture here. Let's talk about what's really going on in the world. Let's talk about the macro. Let's not talk about the flip.
Yep.
How to Flooring, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining. He says he's new to Hover, and probably other people here are new. So I'd like to maybe explain and speak to them a little about the potential of the use cases, because he's asking, well, what's the potential path here? Is it domestic shipping? Basically, are they going to be, like a trucking company helping Amazon?
No,
That
so they can
is,
ship them in that C10. You can ship 2 anywhere you want in a C10 right now.
yeah, that's just one use case. But there's so many use cases, which is an awesome thing here. Anthony always quotes how they're the Swiss Army knife of the skies, and I think the air taxi thing, like that Smiles was talking about, is a little bit like, I don't know why people are so focused on that. I think the bigger picture is the military use cases, medical, cargo, and just all above, right? Just into
Medical,
hopping
cargo,
around
that all
through,
comes first.
going around through islands. I remember when I was in Costa Rica on an island, like I was thinking, like, how do they get shipments here? Like, it's quite expensive to move things around in boats, and it's if you can move things around in the air for cheaper, faster, all the above, safer, it's just going to be way better of an item to use, of a product. So obviously there is competition, and maybe we can speak a little bit more about that. But the big bet here is that the X7 is the best of the best. And I think one of the major things, just for the new people to note, Archer and Joby and even Vertical Aerospace and Eve and all these other companies use open blade propellers, especially tilting them also, which makes things a lot harder. It adds a lot of complexities. It makes it a lot less safe. So just from that regard, the fact that our fans are in the wings already is one of the best design decisions. And I just want to highlight that to anyone new who doesn't really know, and should definitely check a little bit more about that. And then there's obviously a bunch of other things, the fact that they're hybrid. But those are probably the 2 big ones to really note down. Rezo says, great speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, Big Daddy says, we need Drake. I think that's pretty funny and something to note there. I'll get to that a little in the robots, but there should be some awesome sort of unveiling event, or just something that people will remember, that makes it unforgettable. But anyways, should we move on to Garlic Epiphanies? It is kind of relating to Hover. Oh, by the way, Guns
C17.
Direct.
Sorry,
Guns
C17.
Dog Direct. Thank you for joining. What's up? Always good to see you.
Yeah. Plus, in Phil Kelly's most recent interview he did with that guy at whatever it was called, not Verticon, but one of those cons. Right. He was like, the Bush pilots in Canada because they had the Hover dropped that one video about like the lakes freezing over, and then them being able to like drive like trucks out with supplies and stuff like that. You can only do that when it gets cold. And us being very Americanized in our particular transportation system, you got to kind of take a step back and look at, rural Canada, Japan, these places. So just like Brandon said, people will be last. Just like you said, people can sue you, right? People can sue you. A box can't sue you. You know what I'm saying? A heart sitting in a biotech container can't sue you. You know what I'm saying? Particularly. So, but it all makes sense. Even that one comment there about Archer going hybrid with Anduril and stuff like that. Even the since we went hybrid first, it does take time, just like Brandon said, to reverse your architecture to implement the hybrid. So if they did something like that, we would potentially converge at the same spot at the same time. So everybody's looking at Hover as like laid out the gate on this new game plan. Hover's right there in the running. You know what I'm saying?
I will say, what I do know about Anduril, which is opposite of Archer, of course, is that Anduril only makes technologies that are autonomous and doesn't usually involve, a human. So like they made the Fury autonomous aircraft. That's without a pilot. That's without a human. So I don't know how much they would be competing with the X7, because the X7 is not supposed to be, well, it can be sort of an autonomous reconnaissance plane. That would be really the X5 is what we're speaking of on the side, which is a whole nother, just for the newbies who don't know, a whole nother reason of like why the market cap can explode. But as far as the X7 goes, that's to actually move people around, soldiers around, and faster, safer, and just better, all of the above. So to that point, I don't know how much that competition would really matter. Hover really doesn't have too much competition. Their only competition is their current solution, which is like the V-22 Osprey, or I don't know, is there another aircraft? I can't really think of one. And the V-22 Osprey is like an $80 million aircraft, $100,000 an hour to operate, and it's not safe at all. So just some things to note. All right, should we move on? We have a lot of comments here I missed, honestly. Is there anything you want to note? The Curious Cockroach. Haven't heard of him. Real quick, just welcome to the channel. I guess I'll blast through him. In terms of moving people, I could see the X7 as a luxury elitist personal vehicle as opposed to generic taxis like the eVTOLs. That's right. Actually, that's a great point. And this is still like number 6 or 7 on the list of use cases. That's right. That is a really good point, because if you actually look at Joby and Archer's aircraft, it isn't that like, it's just a basic aircraft to move you around, which isn't too big a deal if you're just flying for like 10 minutes. But if you want to fly, I guess, for a longer, like 1 hour flight somewhere, it would be really much better for regional air mobility than like within a city. But still, if you saw the renders of what it looks like as a business jet, as a luxurious elitist aircraft, good point. I really do agree. It would be a good use case, and that's just like one of the use cases, one of the many. Can Hover sell finished aircraft just within just the Canadian certification, or do they have to go to FAA? Yes, to Canada, I believe. But after they do, it'll be, that's a good question.
I know that a lot of the Canadian stuff automatically kind of rolls over to the FAA, but it's kind of like there's certain things that the FAA looks at that they did, and they're like, okay, that meets our criteria. But then there's other things that the FAA is like, we have our own separate little set of hurdles for you to jump through, basically, on top of what you already did.
Yeah, they have like bilateral agreements, it's called, and it makes it easier to get the FAA approval. I think the best way you can think about it, I don't know if it's a good example, but like I'm a realtor, and as a realtor in Florida, if I were to want to be a realtor in Georgia, or like maybe, I don't know, 10 other plus states, we have like these bilateral agreements where I don't have to do the entire course there. I could maybe do like, I don't know, something for just 5 hours instead of 60 hours. So it just makes the whole process much easier. But that is a good question. I don't think they probably can sell without the FAA approval, though. But still, getting the Canadian certification first is a awesome fast track, because like Brandon said, there are hundreds of companies in America trying to get the certification, and it isn't easy. Military can get them earlier. Brandon wants.
That's true. You don't need to have FAA or anything for military. It's its own separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a lot faster.
Yeah, and that's kind of the number one use case. Even though we have like 10 plus, and just to note to anyone new, we also have like what I don't remember exactly what, it's private information. But I remember hearing somewhere that there was a report that came out. It's like private to like, I don't know, like Bloomberg people or whatever, that there is like 50 or 60 use cases for eVTOLs. And we really only talk about just a handful of them. And Hovers covers pretty much majority of them. I don't know what the 50 are. I think we named like 15 of them or so at one point, Anthony. I don't know if we can find or get that list, but I remember Hover did like 14 out of the 15. So whatever the 50 are, it's a majority that Hover can probably do in terms of use cases, which is pretty nice.
The 15th, I think, was it's not a seaplane.
Yeah.
Was it? Possibly. Then maybe it was one more. I think the other one was really
check, but
yeah.
I think it ended up checking off like you said, 14 out of the 15 boxes, and then when you looked at the other companies, that they only checked off like half of the boxes or something.
Yeah, that could be it. That it's not amphibious. Maybe that's a good one. But well, that's not. Well, that is a use case. Yeah, landing in the ocean. Sure.
Yeah, and
Right.
like one thing that potentially could tie into that, like, you know, FAA, or can they go military, right? Because if anybody searches it out, Brandon Robinson interview circa 2 months ago, program was IPO Edge. The guy asked him, what upcoming things do investors have to look forward to? We want you to do it all, but what do they have to look forward to in the near term? Brandon's answer was this: if they've done their homework, they'll see that we won AFWorks competition, and you know, and then you start talking about the X5 and the Lockheed and Northrop. These guys would like to have them because they don't have the complicated launching mechanisms. And then he bridged over the X7, and he said that would be, you know, obviously fantastic for, you know, getting things quicker, you know, critical cargo, medical, stuff like that. And that was his answer. And, you know, it's like the military can get them before the other people. All that fits right up the pillars they're looking for.
Fat Dog asks, so how much for a charter from New York to Boston? You know what? That is a really good question to ask Brandon. We don't actually know, I will say. We don't really know. But we do have we do have a sort of estimate, right? Don't we have a 97 per mile seat per mile range?
That's true. Yeah, we do.
So I don't know how far that actually is, New York to Boston, but you can calculate yourself. $1 per mile.
$1 a mile, you're good to go.
Yeah, $1 per mile per seat, assuming there's going to be 6 seats available to purchase, then that's about $6 per mile. Fairly cheap. I don't think that accounts for the 7th seat of the pilot. I'd assume so. But yeah, 6 or 7, I guess, dollars per mile, guys. So let's move on. Oh, actually, before I move on, Dead Smiles, I didn't share any of the stuff you sent me. Did you want me to share any of this? Or is this for later? What about the F-35 bomber? We have some notes here. Is that later?
No, that's just stuff that I sent to Anthony. I was trying to.
Oh, that's not for the stream.
On the F-35 Lightning program and the people that were involved in that, like Phil Kelly and Northrop Grumman, and you know, that whole ball of wax.
All right, all good.
Yeah, because the X7 does short runway. If it ever has to take off like a CTOL, was it?
Right, and the F-35C is the one that sits on an aircraft carrier, and they have to launch it with a catapult, but then they can still hover retract, right? They can come back to the ship in the hover mode, but only once they've lost any of the additional weight. Like if you have missiles on there, you have to literally drop them in the ocean before you can go into hover mode, or else the weight of the missile will make your fucking plane flip over and fucking crash in the ocean, right? So
that would not be good.
Having something like this where you can have weight on it up and down, you know what I mean? It's a whole nother category for the aircraft carrier.
By the way, Big Daddy asked, where is Marky Mark? He was not able to join us. He actually just texted me because he was flying. He was quite literally just landed. So flying his aircraft, that's where he is, to answer your question. Should I continue? We have so many comments. This is going to make the stream too long. We're already 1 hour in. Oh my. Wow. All right. Let's continue on. We have Garlic Epiphany.
Plus they can read them right there. So
yeah, that's right. We're moving on to Anthony's garlic epiphanies, very fun part of the episode where Anthony eats a raw clove of garlic, and then that makes him go absolutely garlic. Like people say bananas. No, Anthony goes garlic mode, and then has a lot to share for us today. So we got some things to share on screen. I guess you'll take care of that, or let me know if you need any help with that. But
yeah, I numbered them for you. I tried to be thoughtful.
Awesome. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
We have Anthony about to eat a raw garlic clove here. Are you ready?
Yeah, this is actually my second one of the day. I had a late night last night, so I needed a little up this morning.
Oh,
so
wow.
There's number 2.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, aphrodisiac right here. It gets crazy. When you get them the garlic, they go crazy.
I took one last week. Very much not fun, and I don't think I will take one. But you know what? I will try and think of a fun way to maybe it's like, I don't know. If we hit a certain amount of likes or something, I will take a garlic. Should we do something like that? Something fun? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do something like that.
How many likes do you normally get?
Do I want to suffer and eat garlic? I don't know, actually. I really don't know. Normally 20 to 30 likes on a live stream.
If you get 100 likes, I'll eat a garlic. And I won't.
Oh, my.
Garlic at all.
Okay. So last week's epiphany, I had simultaneously with this one, but I wanted to run the poll to get the people that are all in on HOVR to get the data. You ran a poll, so there's some data there. And then there's the poll we did on Reddit on, who's 100% in HOVR, who's 50 to 99% in HOVR, and all that kind of stuff. Last week's epiphany was the standard way to do a deep dive in a micro cap pre-revenue company, and that was the check boxes that they've been communicating. So that's very smart. But this one, what kind of stuff do I find interesting? I find prediction interesting. Prediction's a very good characteristic and perception for survival, right? Like he who can predict well survives well, right? You got this spectrum, you got guessing, and then you have like very high insight into what is going to happen. So I find that kind of stuff interesting, the human experience, I think about stuff like, why do people cluster Archer and Joby with HOVR? It makes me think about frame of reference thinking, right? Like if there's no information, there's a vacuum, there's nothingness, right? If there's no information, it's a vacuum. It must be filled with something. So the usual response is a adjacent piece of information to put in there, right? So adjacent piece of information, people look at air taxis and stuff like that. But as Decimiles has highlighted many times, it's not particularly a competitive particular situation. They're kind of doing their own thing, right? So the epiphany was kind of like, and just like Decimiles was saying, after Christmas, it went down. I was doing the same thing. I was buying at 50 cents, 46 cents, and I was doing it, right? And then there's no Reddit, there's no community, there's nothing, right? And it's really interesting. So like my epiphany was like, it's quote unquote, unless you listen to Mr. Warren Buffett there, and if you see something that's a lead cinch pipe type situation, it's good, And so I was kind of looking at that, and then like there's a lot of really smart guys that have like very large position sizes in HOVR, which I found that kind of interesting. Like that's kind of the epiphany. I was like, as I got enough data of like, wow, this person seems really intelligent. Like, wow, this person seems really intelligent. Wow, this person seems really intelligent. I was like, that could potentially be an indicator, right? Because like if you look at ASTS and like Rocket Lab, these type of stuff, and I know those kind of guys are getting in now too, like on the Reddit and X and stuff. A lot of these guys, they're like, yeah, I was in ASTS and I like HOVR and stuff like that. Like these people do exist. Like they're not a figment of my imagination, right? And so, if you just look at that, right? Like these are all indicators, right? Like those things did what they did, right?
Here's the data from right now. Whoops, how do I get that nicely? There we go. Only 9%. said 0. We have 33% of the audience who has less than 10% of hover. We have 21% who has 100% in hover, which is incredible. 33 votes. That is what, 21%. Quick math. I don't know, 7-ish people. 36% have under 95%. I guess between 10 and 95%. This is just some quick data from this YouTube live stream. We also have the Reddit poll here. Anthony, you want to give the quick breakdown here? What was your takeaway? I mean, 36 people full port. Wow.
Yeah. And then even 50 to 99%. What's that number? 38. And then we got I like the way you ran your poll. The structure is a little better because my ridiculous amount not full port, that's a little bit nebulous, but still
vague.
A little bit vague. Yeah,
it could be like 0.1%.
Yeah.
That's not very ridiculous. Maybe ridiculously too little.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my takeaway from seeing this is like, just wow, how many people are in it. This is quite an anomaly for such a small stock, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like other companies that I'm in. SCWO, SkyX, similar market caps. SCWO had quite a big hype and a lot of retail investors on the Reddit, but definitely I can't think of one person ever when the hype went up and everyone was talking about it. Not one person ever said that they're in 100%. No one ever showed a really big amount in it. I feel like I might be even having the biggest amount in SCWO. And it's quite crazy that a stock like Hover, not one person is all in. There's many people who are all in. And to the intro video, shout out Anthony for finding that. I did not know Warren Buffett ever even said something like that. I did not know he ever even preached something like putting 100%, 75% of your money in one stock.
Compounding. Very important.
And notably, he did say when you don't have a lot of money, obviously, not, in his status, if you're a billionaire, you're not going to ever put 100%. But still, generally speaking, for a majority of us, we want the money to grow to big millions, and possibly if maybe there are other people who have ambitions to be billionaires. So to do something like that, you really have to have heavy conviction, and that was my takeaway. It's quite an anomaly to see the conviction. That was quite an epiphany, actually.
Yes,
yeah, I agree.
Yes,
yeah, I liked it.
There's cool companies. Look at like Kit. It's like $1. They got those underwater robots. That's cool. There could be something for that,
Wait, what is that?
KITT. They do the underwater robots. It's similar to OPTT. Granted, OPTT, they've kind of, burned the candle at both ends, and their float's like 200 million now because they're still trying to figure it out and stuff like that. But yeah, all these dollar micro cap tickers. It's like you would have to be like crazy to go all in on these things. Are you going to go all in on Buru? You going to go all in on, Kit? You going to go, no, you are crazy town if you do something like that, right? But
I think I did like $20 in my son's account on OPTT.
Yeah.
And it was when it ran up from like 40 cents to 80 cents. And I was like, all right, trim half. And it was only like, $20 we were playing with or whatever. So it was fun for him.
Yeah.
But he still got it rolling around, man. And I watched it go to like $1.50 or $2, and then down to like 30. And then it's like, that's just a joke. Man.
Dude, please.
I agree with you guys so much. And I love that Warren Buffett video clip that you shared that's in the intro. If you guys haven't seen that, please go watch that intro. Great clip. And my only problem, and I don't know if other people feel this way, especially given today's time, is that things are advancing so much and there's so many great companies and great technologies to invest in. Like, I believe in Hover for an eVTOL play for sure. For many reasons, great design. I think the best reason really is the leadership behind it, and Brandon Robinson, who is devoted to everything. Which, you know what? Quick side story to that. Y Combinator, run by originally Paul Graham, Sam Altman, and now Gary Tan. Y Combinator, the biggest venture capital firm in the world. They've notably invested in every big unicorn. When they invested in Airbnb, I remember this story. It was a great one. How they explained why they invested in it. They didn't understand at all who would sleep in someone else's house. At the time, it wasn't like today where you get a whole house. You would sleep and be a neighbor, like your roommates with someone, and they would tour you around the city, and no one understood the concept. But they were failing, and Airbnb, the founder, Brian Chesky, was so devoted, he started selling cereal boxes to keep the company Airbnb afloat. Cereal boxes that have nothing to do with it. He took Cheerios and just changed the label to Obama O's, because at the time, Obama was, a big thing. It was Obama against John McCain, and he made like McCain Maverick cereal. Point is, he just made a nicer cereal, and he sold those cereal boxes for $40, what was originally like a $4 cereal. And they said, if you can sell a $40 cereal, if you can just spin up this side company just to reinvest your own money and put it in, continue the business, and you never give up, then I don't know what this Airbnb thing is, but I know you're never going to give up. And they invested in him, and obviously it was a success. And the number one takeaway from that, and from everything I've seen, from like all I know about venture capital, is that the best way to invest is who is at the top, who is running the ship. The product comes second, and I think we have an incredible design so that we, like Anthony said last week, all the boxes are checked, but the best box is the CEO box. And I really, really like Brandon Robinson and what he's doing, and his whole his whole perspective on growth and the company, and his answers to things. He's I have nothing bad to say, I guess. I like how he's leading. Yeah, he's the
golden
champion.
dude.
And you know what? When I see other CEOs like Adam Goldstein, I'm happy we have who we have. So just
So like that GameStop guy or whatever. Remember we were talking about that?
Ryan Cohen.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, whatever he did on CNBC the other day.
He's fooling people.
God.
I mean, look at the investors.
Yeah.
You just look at the investors. Actually, the GameStop, they're all meme people. They're all throwing crazy memes. They all talk about diamond hands
this
and
is
stuff.
not the meme stock. Please, if you're a meme guy, go somewhere else. Please, I don't want any of that here.
I like that. Engineers are attracted to the stock, and people who understand physics
People have
and
intelligence.
yes. So we have quite an awesome community, and very, very glad to to be a part of it. So
yeah.
And
so I'm like halfway through. Here we go. We got two more things. So, and K. Dean read my mind, because that context of that whole communication, I was thinking identical to you, which is diversification is the protection of wealth, and concentration is the creation of wealth. You know what I'm saying? Public knowledge. I donated plasma for my hover. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there, get a needle in my arm. I was thinking about getting another 10 more shares. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm living. I'm going to the grocery store, making life decisions. You know what I'm saying? I go to the gas station, no big deal, because I got a Vespa motor scooter. I could fill up my tank for $6 here in California and go 60 miles on that. So thank God. But anyway, so these guys are smart. Like, there's smart guys in there. I like OPTT. I like the buoy. I like the generating the electricity. I like
it too, but they're never going to make money.
Exactly. So I like the way MV it goes and connects, but I realized something. This could be a potential natural law. You guys could articulate how it would be worded, but I spotted it, and it would be this. You know how in video games, you remember video games where you had to save your lives to get to the end? It was like, I can only beat this game if I have enough lives towards the end. Right? Yeah. Mario, right? Yeah, click, exactly. one up, click, right?
Yeah.
Now look at OPTT. Their float's 200 million now. It bumped up again, right? And it's funny because if you look at what Hover's doing, dude, 2001, right? Or 2017, all this, all the way through. Look at what they're doing right now. Look at how they have done it. Look at the condition they are in. Look at the communication. Look at what's coming. Look at how logical all these things are. These dudes are getting to the final level. You know what I'm saying? And they got all their lives. You see what I'm saying? Because this ain't no like got run through 15 times in Tijuana and we loose. You know what I'm saying? This is they got their lives. You know what I mean? Like this ain't the micro cap. You know, this ain't XTIA used to be $2,500 a share because it was a penny and 250 reverse split. This ain't that. These guys have been running this very responsibly to the shareholders, right? And it's very obvious, right? So, if you look, right, prediction purposes, right, if you look at ASTS and these things, what did they have? Before they went on their year rally, multi-year rally, now they're still chilling up in the 70s, hit the 100. That's fantastic. You can't go wrong with that if you early. If you bought ASTS at $2, $3, $4 and it hit that 100 plus and now it's chilling at 70, you ain't mad, right? So pull up that picture that Des Smiles made. Right. Okay, good. So here's the big picture first, right? So this is a picture. Do you want to explain to them what this is, Des Miles?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole green area to the upper left is basically all your hedge fund filers, with the exception of William George Brunber, who I moved from the strategic filer over to the corner for selling. The insiders are all in your blue area, so you can see Brandon Robinson's shares and ownership percentage relative to the absolute dilution, which includes our mystery investor, right, which is in the purple area. So everybody up there, including Brandon's dad, is up in the blue area. They're all on the board. They all are the insider shares. You see next to that, I have the PSUs. So those are your performance share units. Once we hit those $250 million market cap points, those shares will be issued, which then brings you to the gray area, which is the dilution impacts performance share unit percentages. So you have the overall dilution on the shares at 55,827,000, which leaves a free tradable float of 22 million shares because the float locked shares are now 33.6 million. The float lock I'm considering to be all the insider shares, Kanzo Investment Council, Dustin Shindo, Grip Investments, and our mystery investor. So that in my mind is our 60% of locked float. So then you go down to our Reddit poll selection, and we had over 314 votes. So I can't read that without up. It's there in the green area, the green and white area.
I sent you the other picture.
That's the actual poll that happened. So those are all your votes. There was 2,300 members at the time of the voting. I gave everybody a range. I picked a number right in the middle of all those ranges. Yeah, can you go back, please?
Yeah,
it's this one. Yeah.
Thank you. And when I came down to the basically our totals here, we have different color-coded areas. Total shares available. So that's our total shares available right now, not including the performance shares, right? Because you can see in the gray area, we show 55 million 0.8, but in this green area, we have the 57.5. Below that, we remove the strategic filers, which is our float locked shares. And then we have our corporate filers, which is our 13 F shares. And then our insider shares. You can see the insiders in total hold a little over 5 million shares. That then leaves 20 million shares left, right? Mm-hmm. So that's basically our float. Now, retail, because of the Reddit poll, we've locked up 5 million shares. That's conservative. That's not like going overboard or doing any kind of multipliers. That's strictly based on the mid-range of everybody's vote. You can see my averages right there. So retail currently in just our Reddit, we have 9 to 10% of the float.
And that's
And
only
then
13% of Reddit voting.
right, of the actual members, right? So
Right.
I don't know if I can't say every member is a shareholder. And if you started to try to figure that out and use a 7 times multiplier, then there's not even enough shares anymore, right? So let's not use the multiplier. Let's just go by facts. Let's go by what we have in front of us. And yes, could the retail amount of shares be more than 5 million? Of course. But that is what we actually have voted on. And that's what I can actually confirm we have in our Reddit group. We roughly have 10% ownership in Horizon Aircraft right now. And with this flood of investors coming in, that ownership percentage is going to increase. And with our shorts increasing right now, I mean, that's a little outdated at 1.9 million shares shorted. I believe currently we're at 2.5 to 2.6 million shares shorted. These shorts are going to be forced to cover. And quite honestly, we're running out of shares at this point. So we have an explosive rally coming up. But that was the whole picture. That was everything I could account for on that day, every share I could find. Anything that's been filed thereafter would then have to be figured into that equation.
That's great. That's awesome data.
Yeah.
By the way, Deke Jackson, welcome to the show. Always good to have you. Says hover to $20. And you know what? Paul O'Brien seems like he has some evidence to support that. Quite interesting. Paul O'Brien, I'd love to see the spreadsheet that you have. It says going to 150, but within the next year to $20. Would love to see how that plays out. What's in your spreadsheet? Just like Dead Smile shared. That was awesome data, and always great to get a bigger picture. So great to see the long term. Would love to see that maybe on the next one.
The last thing I'll say to tie it all in is all the people that voted in the Reddit there, just the people that voted accounted for 9% of the float, right? Not accounting the guys in Japan that got it and here that got it, the retail got it here and there, right? Let's even just double it. Let's just go. That doesn't even seem logical, but let's just say half the people that own Hover retail voted, right?
And everybody who owns it is buying more.
Yeah, exactly. But let's just say double seems stupid. Let's say triple, right? Let's say triple people own it that did not vote in the Reddit. So what's that put us at? 20% ownership retail, right? If that was 9%, that's the people that voted, right? We do know some guys that have 150,000 shares and stuff like this, right? I know people that have 100,000 collectively between them. I know they didn't vote on the Reddit. You know what I'm saying?
You saw my poker buddy. He's got 80,000.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's people that haven't voted for sure.
100%. So three times it seems logical. So let's just say it's a 27% retail owns it, right? If you look at what ASTS was at before it went on its rally, it was 40 to 50% held by retail. And institutions, it was like 10% or something like that. Now that it's gone on that crazy rally it's shifted, and institutions own like 50% or more, or something like that. And then retail, it's like 13% currently, ASTS or something like that. Just to use it as a datum of comparable magnitude, right? And these people can see these things. Obviously, people can read and do the math and see that there's this many shares. And if we all get in and hold, then, it pushes it and so forth into the direction it needs to go. And then these people can, take it to the place it needs to be. But anyway, that kind of ties all my epiphany together. Like, why the hell would people go all in on something like this? And it just makes sense to me. It always made sense to me, but it's nice to see that it makes sense to other people too. Smart people, right? Because these guys are smarter than me. No shit. I'm donating plasma for my Hover. These guys are like real smart. You know what I'm saying? I just got my high school education. You know what I'm saying? These guys are smart. You know what I'm saying? So, I go with Brandon. You know what I'm saying? I go with the team. I go with the fact that they got to level 9 with all their lives. That's what I go with. You know what I'm saying? These guys are ready to be dancing with, King Koopa. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting that we're not the only one surprised. Rezo here says, since that poll, I've more than tripled my position. Seems like that poll has given him the conviction So that's quite interesting that, people are really all in, man. D Jackson also says, I'm moving the death smiles way. I'm going all in hover, and I'm going to sit on it and just keep adding and sit more and more. Awesome to hear. Yeah, so really crazy. Great epiphany. This is actually like probably the most bullish thing to know, that people are freaking all in. And you know what? To my point earlier, I wish I can be. I just am excited about so many other interesting, fun technologies that it's just so hard to be all in just eVTOLs when so many crazy stuff are happening in the world. So, for example, robots. I'm super excited about robots and what's going on in that world. Have you guys seen
Oh yeah,
what's
I
up?
need one for my wife, dude. Hook me up.
Not to correct you, but remember, we're VTOL. We're VTOL.
I know we're
Yeah.
talking about VTOL, but this was huge news this week, I think.
Well, of course. I was just being schmoozy and correcting you.
And I did want to make this point though, that I'm not all in hover. I'm I don't know, should I say I think I'm
You're all in with
it
your
depends
time,
on the
though.
day.
You're
I'm
all
about
in with your time. You're all in
15%.
with your heart. That's for damn sure.
My portfolio is about 15% hover. The other 85% is comprised of maybe 10 or so other companies that I really like. Hover is really one of the biggest ones at 15. I think Tesla's my biggest, really, maybe more at like 25% at this point. So that's really my biggest one. So Hover is really a really big one for me. But I do have other companies that I really like, and Palantir is a pretty big one for me. But that's also just naturally from it growing a lot, so that's a little different. But the point is that I like, if I could have invested in this robots company, I totally would have 3 years ago when I first heard of them. Now they're way too big and they're not even investable. But I just wanted to play a little bit of how cool this is. So this is times 4 speed because it's a little bit slower. But the first robot opens the doors to the second one, and they're cleaning your house. Just like you said, you wish you can get one for your wife, or to replace your. Like, this
Mow
is
the
so
lawn,
impressive.
make
The
dinner,
level.
do some laundry, with me to work. Hey man, you're my helper for today.
Hell yeah.
So for the longest time, we've actually had robots. Robots are just one
Yeah,
purpose.
but
This
I
is
like
general
the
purpose.
Boston ones way better.
The which ones?
Boston Dynamics, is it called, or Boston? I think
That one has been around for years, and it hasn't actually made any.
those things are awesome, dude.
They are awesome, but they're not really useful. Like, so here's the thing about robotics. We've had robots for a long time, right? Like the iRobot, the vacuum that cleans your house, right? That's a robot, but it only vacuums. You have a washer dryer. Those are forms of robots. They wash and dry your clothes. Even the dishwasher is a form of a robot, actually, if you think about it. We have created all sorts of autonomous ways. The big difference here and the big revolution here is that this is an all-purpose robot, right? The Swiss Army of robots. And it can do all sorts of things, like you saw, clean your entire room, from all sorts of meticulous things to folding your bed to, in this case here, working in a factory. And this right here is a super impressive. This is a live stream, what you guys are watching right now. This was supposed to only be 8 hours long, and they said, fuck it, we're gonna keep it going. And this is day 5 right now. Okay, this is pretty viral in this tech world right now. This robot is working nonstop. They are changing out the robots, I guess. Right now it's Jim. Earlier it was Gary, and you can see a robot side by side to a human working. It's pretty cool. You can see it's pretty close. Okay, the human is actually doing more packages. So this is a work shift of 3 hours, and the robot did 8,600, whereas the human did almost 9,000 here. Just a little bit more, but not working as many hours. So totally.
Yeah, but the big benefit is the labor. You don't have to pay this guy to stand there and do that all day. You buy the robot once and it's done.
Of course, not just that. The robot there has done 127,000 packages, okay, and has worked nonstop for 102 hours. Now, I think they changed the robots, like I said, just because the battery or something. But even still, works nonstop. You don't have to have someone stopping.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, just have two and have them rotate. One charges and while one's working, and just take turns.
Here, look, if I go back a little bit, you see, he took a 10-minute break. He said, California mandatory. Oh my God. I didn't even know
what if
that's a thing.
robots get rights, dude?
Whoa.
Here, there's another. Wait, I see here. There's another
Man,
break.
it's the Terminator rising.
Another 10-minute break. California mandatory. What is that? Within like 1 hour. I saw at one point he also had a 30-minute. There we go. A 30-minute lunch break. Look how many times he's stopping.
It's 2 10s and 1:30 is the law for an 8-hour shift, right?
I don't know, but as you can see,
It
it's
is okay.
okay. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't worked a regular job in like
I
10
know
years, actually.
California law quite well.
Yeah, you live there. Yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't say
I
that.
do
Well,
business here, so I know what my employees or other employees would have to do. So that's it.
right. People already know you're there. I met up, if you guys don't remember, I met up with Death Smiles and we have a video together in California. But that was before he showed face. But anyways, so yeah, that's just the news about Figure. I just wanted to show that they're doing some awesome stuff. And I just wanted to note that this is so cool that they're live streaming this for 5 days straight. This is just like a sort of unveiling event. I think it's just a really cool event. It's almost similar to Joby flying around New York, just surprising people. So I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because love seeing stuff like this in the world. Awesome new technologies coming to life, and this is really one of them. And as you can see, this is something everyone's excited about, actually. Like this and flying cars. Like, I don't know if I should share the clip. No, I'm not going to share the clip because I have it reserved for another video. But I will just mention there is an awesome clip of Elon mentioning that there is no reason he's needed to start Tesla if GM was successful building their electric car. And what happened with GM's electric car, they kind of were successful. People love the car, but they took it away. And you can watch the movie Who Killed the Electric Car? And the answer was basically GM, because they saw that it's going to kill the automobile industry and like completely just take over, and all the regular cars are going to be like, going bankrupt. So they're going to bankrupt their own company is what they saw. So they killed the electric car. And what they did was take the cars back away from the people. Usually you just sell a product and you stop selling it. But the people who already had the product, they forcibly took it away from them. And the people who loved it so much that they held a candlelight vigil, Elon said. They held a candlelight vigil for the car. And it was just a funny clip of him like saying that and quoting like who lights a candlelight vigil for any product, let alone a GM product, like who is in love with their product that much? And I think with flying cars and with robots, people are going to love their products that much to where like if you were to take it away, people would be furious. So yeah, just something to note. I think we're in like this and robotics are like similar industries to where like people are excited for this. This is the future we've been waiting for. So yeah, that's fun. I will play a different clip of Elon since we're past robots here. We're going to get into some miscellaneous stuff. I will start with this. Let's play this little clip. Listen to Elon talking about flying cars since we're talking about the excitement of it.
I can guarantee is that this product demo will be unforgettable. Unforgettable.
How so?
Whether it's good or bad, it will be unforgettable.
Can you say more? What do you mean?
Well, my friend Peter Thiel, once reflected that the future was supposed to have flying cars, but we don't have flying cars.
So you're gonna be able to fly?
Well, I mean, I think if Peter wants a flying car, he should be able to buy one.
So are you actively considering making an electric flying car? Is this like a real thing?
Well, we have to see in the
demo.
Yeah.
So when you do this, like, are you
Now, this was last year. Obviously, the demo didn't happen. He said it was going to happen end of the year, and we don't know when it'll happen. And with Elon's timelines, he's always late. But we are quite overdue, and I wanted to share that again because I think that news is going to come at a big surprise to people when there is some sort of unveiling. And I don't know how much it will matter to the rest of the industry in terms of competition, but it actually will help, I think, because it will just bring a bunch of eyeballs and it bring also validity that if Elon is getting in this space is legit. And then players like Horizon and whoever other companies you may like have already been around, already have a legit prototype flying, about to go full scale. Well, the eyeballs are going to start rolling to us. So that is only a good thing. And I think obviously that is just pure speculation. But we are way overdue from when Elon said that. I don't know if you guys remember that. It went pretty viral. Do you guys remember that? Does this come as a shocker that Elon said this?
No, I seen it before. It's cool.
So yeah, that's just a little thing I wanted to note about that. That's going to be quite exciting. Also, something else on the side I kind of haven't done in a bit. I forgot, but I am right now on the Discord. I just turned it on the voice chat. Sometimes, when watching other people's podcasts, I hear them say things and I'm like, damn, if only I could pitch in and ask a question or have a comment, So if you ever feel that way, I will have the Discord available if anyone wants to join. I hope no one goes and says any dumb shit, but I'm going to risk it. And, we're going to have, I'm going to risk it. And whoever, any random stranger listening, you're welcome to just join and have a chat with us if you have any question. So I will be watching the Discord if someone has something. All right. Moving on. What else do we have? Just some random side news. Have you guys ever seen this aircraft? It's
drone, huh?
it's actually Aero, AIRO. If you guys remember my very first live stream, I think, or one of my first live streams. Yeah, it was. I was streaming the IPO of this company, and they just unveiled their aircraft. So pretty awesome, just full circle. I'm actually not a fan of this company, but just a little full circle since I streamed them. They're my first company. I just wanted to show their aircraft. It is a full scale of their next generation dual use VTOL aircraft platform. And yeah, it I don't think it's supposed to move any people. It's just for like reconnaissance missions. It's supposed to be military. I guess in some sense it's a competitor for the X5. But yeah, this is Aero's aircraft. Just something to note.
Wow.
Anthony, you have some things for us?
Was that picture the Aero thing? Was that AI or was that real? Look real.
You know what? It doesn't look real to me, actually.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get a real one while you share, because they did do. I don't know what kind of unveiling is this image. I want to unveil of the real one, but I'll see if I can find that real quick. You have some things for us. You have some things to share also.
Yeah, miscellaneous section here, just to tie in with what Death Smiles went over last week. We got this right here from Phil Kelly's UAV company. This right here, we got the Filshin, and right there you got Apple, and so forth. But right there at the bottom, you got Airbus. You got Airbus right there, so that's right there. And then on Horizon's investor package, you got Bell Helicopter right there. This one down in the right-hand corner, that's a university. Then you got AFWorks above that, obviously. Air Force, Canso, Fleming College, obvious. Certificate, Cert Center Canada, obvious. You got your Pratt Whitney, that's hot. You got your Bell, and you got your Evolito, powering electric flight. So that's very nice. But yes, Mr. Desmiles mentioned that last live stream and how people haven't really connected the dots on that one.
Can you back up to that Pulsion or whatever it was post?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to explain that just for a second to everybody.
Please.
I ended up looking at this website about a year ago, and I found those 5 symbols at the bottom of it. If you go there today, you will not find this. What you are seeing is you're seeing knockoff logos, a pretend Apple logo, a pretend Intel logo, a pretend Uber logo, right? These are all fake looking logos. But the one logo that's actually genuine in that whole mix is the Airbus logo, which was like, when I first saw it, I was like, what is this company? This is like some kind of a joke or something, like somebody's scamming somebody. But then I started looking at it going like, well, why is only one logo real out of all 5?
And black. It's like the other ones are white.
And then if you start looking at Phil Kelly, he did a bunch of deals with Airbus a while back. If you start digging into that, you'll start seeing some connections there. But if you go look at that site now, that is completely gone. Completely gone. So that was a lucky that I got that screenshot when I did.
Crazy find.
Yes, sir.
Quite interesting, honestly. I have here the pictures, actually, the real pictures I found. So this is what the Aero aircraft looks like. Yeah. Actually, Aero is more of a parent company. The specific company, because they do other stuff also, but all within kind of the same space of like military stuff. But the company specifically is called
or anything like that.
Sorry, what?
Is it going to be like a heavy lift copter? Besides being like a drone or UAV or whatever, are they going to be able to do, heavy lift operations where you have to do consistent hover in one area? Maybe you're setting air conditioners, or you're setting a pole on a mountainside where it has to sit there and hover for hours.
I don't think so. It looks just like it's going to be, it's not going to be for people. It's just going to be like, this individual, like autonomous kind of aircraft. I don't think it's going to be hovering for a lot. Maybe, honestly, because the top, the vertical part of it actually is like a helicopter. Now that
because it almost looks like a more refined helicopter, kind of like an Apache or whatever, where it's like, it reminds me of the Rambo movie.
Yeah, I'm not too sure because you can see the sensors kind of and the cameras under there. I'm honestly, I can take a look more and tell you later, but I just wanted to highlight that they did the unveiling. And the company is actually called Jaunt Air Mobility. I've reviewed them before. I kind of forgot, but they weren't really interesting to me because they had no pictures. Everything looked just like a 3D render, a bit like this. And I don't know how legit they were, but they do other stuff. So, they do have revenue and actually make money from other things that they do. So, just a little shout out to Aero. That's just some news on the side. Some other eVTOL news, my own personal news that people don't know about maybe, unless you're on the Discord. I went to visit Doroni. Doroni is an aerospace company, an eVTOL company. They are building this flying aircraft. Super cool. It just charges with a Tesla charger right there, as you can see. Just a little sneak peek of the images there. I am still working on the footage, editing the whole video, the whole tour. But that was a lot of fun. And honestly, other than fun, it was an experience. I got to fly the thing. I got to do the whole simulation. I put on a VR headset and like flew it, and it felt so real. It felt so cool. And to my point earlier of, Elon mentioning the GM avid customers who really loved their EV. I felt like that when I flew this thing. I wanted this flying car. Like, it was awesome. It was purely awesome, and I would hate if I had it and someone took it away. I can't wait for these things to starting to fly around. And the thing about Hover, and what I really like about them, is that this is for personal use. Hover really isn't. Hover is for different use cases. The only use case that I would ever go into Hover is for regional air mobility, but not really for personal use, flying this thing to my house, landing, not in my house, I'm in an apartment, but if I had a house, landing on a roof or a garage, that's really the purpose of that. And I'm going to dive into it a little more and what that aircraft is. And actually the company is investable. So I think it might interest some people who are watching, and it's just a little bit of a different eVTOL play, because while all these use cases are good, I think the personal use case is a big one as well. And I'm just really excited about that. I think it's, I don't know, Dead Smiles, you're nodding your head no.
You're not going to be able to fly it out of your driveway. You're still going to have to go to a regional airport to take off. I mean, the existing flying cars they have, you have to drive to an airport to take off anyway, then land in an airport, and then you can drive out of the airport.
That's not true. If you're in a specific location, if you're in certain, not in super urban cities, but in more suburban homes where you're not near an airport, why not? I think
I don't know, because you can take off and hit the power lines right over the house or something like that. I mean,
there is regulation working on it. It's called light sport. It's a different category of eVTOLs. And I'm learning about it, and that's what I learned a little bit about in the interview as well, but I don't want to give away too much. But basically, if it's a two-seater,
other set of regulations to get through though versus what we've already got in front of us.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm not as optimistic about that as I am about Hover. That's for sure.
Yeah.
To say the least, it's an exciting time. We are having amazing technologies like robots coming to our life, flying cars or eVTOLs or whatever you want to call them or use them as. It's a very exciting time. And I know other people are excited also about drones. So I think this whole sector is really the whole next level to drones. That market's already been pumped. And it's going to continue doing really well, especially if wars are going to be continuing. But any other miscellaneous news you guys have before we continue on?
Only thing I'll say, not to put shade on any of these companies, but what did Brandon Robinson say? As time goes on, they'll get pulled apart from the purely eVTOL plays. And honestly, every time, because this is like this channel is interesting. You show a lot of different stuff, but the core concept is a Hover's rock and roll. But like, it's funny, whenever we show other stuff, it's cool and stuff like that. But to me, down deep inside, I'm just kind of like looking for that exact crossroads where Hover just like gleans directly, that it's like completely separate from all of this stuff. Because the general population, we're just a small degree of retail. You know what I mean? A couple institutions getting in, these type of things. But as the cookie crumbles, Hover's just going to be like, because there's so much data, so much, randos, snake oil salesmen and this and all that, you know what I mean? Like Hover's the bomb. They're selling them to guys that got the hangars. They're selling them to guys that got the jet fuel pumps already. They're selling them to guys that got the pilots already. Like, that's what's so sick about all this. You could say Hover's laid out the gate or not, but when it comes to hybrid, we right there in the front runners. And then once this thing starts rolling out, the people we giving them to, they're ready to rock and roll already. They got players on the field. So,
you know what, you just gave me an idea of next week's live stream agenda. I think I don't know what the title will be yet, but I think the overall thesis should be about how the CEO matters so much, like I was saying, how he's so determined and whatnot, and how the rest can be, or you should look out for snake oil salesmen. I really like that point, and And yeah, I want to highlight Olive Flying Cars, how he really seemed like a snake oil salesman to me. I'm gonna find some clips, and yeah, we'll make next week's live stream maybe about like snake oil salesman versus like the real deal. I think maybe that's a good one right there. Cool, love that. I want to highlight some comments here before we go to site of the week. I didn't see actually, but Paul O'Brien earlier said about robots. How is a guy supposed to feed his family when the robots take his jobs? Fair point, quite a concern to people. But, with all technologies, new jobs come. And actually, with this technology, with where we're going with AI and robots, we're actually going to get to a world of abundance. So that won't be a big deal. We're going to have robots doing everything for us. You won't need to have a job if the robots are going to be giving you everything. I know it sounds crazy, that smiles, but we're going to have universal high income. Okay, you're gonna get free money from the government.
The poor get poor, bro. That's been
the
always
world.
The term I've heard.
Unfortunately, I never believed this.
100 of them, and they get it to do all this stuff, and then they release 100 people, and they don't have jobs no more, and they get to be poor. And yeah, you're right, maybe, but what are we talking about? Like the Star Trek Euphoria future?
We are talking about a sort of form of utopian communism. Okay, I don't know if that's even a thing or a term. I kind of just made that up, but I'm serious.
Hey, keep digging the hole deeper. Keep digging the hole deeper.
This is kind of where the world is leading to, okay? Unfortunately, we're going to lead to some sort of communism. People are going to have some sort of stipends, whether it's giving them money or, like we already have some form of it, right? It's called EBTs, right? We're giving food away for free, but we're going to do more than that, right? You're going to be given a robot for free. Maybe you're going to be given a computer for free. You're going to be given, access to the internet for free and all these basic, things that will become like a basic necessity in life, right?
Like water?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because it's a necessity. How come it's not free?
It will be, because we're going to get to a world of abundance with robots eventually doing everything. If robots eventually do everything, if we can solve
if they can figure out how to charge for air, they would.
Yep. If we can solve, that's I watched not long ago. What the Lorax? It's in the movie The Lorax. The most like famous, like there's like the most like rich guy there. He sells air. It's so funny. If you watch just the first like minute or two of the Lorax, it's like a whole musical on how this guy O'Hare sells air to the city. Because it's like whatever. Point is, I think with abundance, all this will come, and we're not gonna have to worry about money. We're gonna have unlimited energy when people are gonna solve that problem, right? I mean, I don't know why we haven't yet, right? With solar or fusion or something, unlimited energy should be coming, I think. Compute. If we have unlimited energy, that will solve the compute problem, and that will solve the everything problem from there. Pretty much, we'll have unlimited robots. We'll have unlimited manufacturing of everything at that point. Once we have unlimited robots, and everything is solved. I know this is a bit of a long run, and I didn't even think we'll get to here, but yeah, we will get there. I know it's a bit of a U shape, right? Things were free, right? Water is free. K. Dean here says water isn't even free anymore, right? But it will be. It will be. Maybe at least
McDonald's is free. He's right. Or it used to be free at McDonald's. Now you just get a bottle. Can I get a cup of ice? Yeah, 20 cents for the cup, please. What?
Is that a thing? I didn't know. Is that a thing that McDonald's is known for always smiling at you or something? Or free?
I think they're known for never giving you ketchup.
I remember hearing recently on TBPN, Lyft was known for when you'd get in a Lyft car, the driver would always fist bump you.
Fist bump,
which is so funny. You would never do that now. Cheers, Anthony. Cockroach says. I don't know about what, but
he asked this question up here. Question up here, which was that one, and then I told him this
logos about this maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Roach's last week's live. What need fuel? That smells explained. I'm confused.
The live we did last week was called Need Fuel. And at the beginning, Death Smiles talked about everybody's talking about, this and that, Archer, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's talking about, these things, Airbus and Bell helicopters. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody just the same thing. Everybody's jarbled into the whole EVTOL, web. And it's like hover, you know what I'm saying? Who are they actually interrupting? It's helicopters. And what does Brandon always say? 60% of all helicopters just go from point A to point B. They're not hovering for long periods of time to fix poles and mountains. You know what I'm saying? And get people out of the people out of the ocean that crash landed in that plane you showed earlier today. That was helicopters. They got those people out. But you know what I'm saying? But the Bell and the Airbus thing, it's like, who are we competing with? So and he made the point. Nobody talks about it, which is crazy. There's a little bit of breadcrumbs here and smoke there. People name this, people name that, but nobody's mentioning that. And sure, they've never publicly mentioned that except for on their website, but they've never verbally communicated about them particularly, even though I know Phil Kelly has talked before about the type of helicopters that the Cavorite X7 would disrupt because the off-spray, just like Brandon says, $40,000 an hour to operate, and they break down, you need all these technicians. And same thing with the racer, the bus racer, the Airbus racer, right? Stuff like that. So that was the whole kit and caboodle about why we brought up the Airbus and the Bell, right?
Thank you for that.
One of the two biggest helicopter manufacturers in the world. So,
yeah, very true. Yeah, and awesome that we're gonna be competing with them.
That was last week's episode, bro. That was last week's episode. I'm like, need fuel. You're like, what's that? Yeah,
we're not competing with them. We're being backed by them, in my opinion.
Yep.
I completely forgot to show my robot here. This is my Tesla figure robot, my little action figure. I feel like a little kid with this again. Honestly, I never buy toys, but this is the coolest thing ever. I can't wait for this thing to be real. I didn't show the Tesla robot. I showed the figure robot earlier, but still competing in the same world. Whoever wins, doesn't matter. They might even both be able to be, having a lot of robots everywhere. Just super cool. This will one day be able to work and do shit. Yeah, just wanted to show this. Very cool. And I can't wait to get a Cavorite X7 in the background here. I actually got some other stuff. I really like Tesla. Of course, I don't have this car. I actually have this car. This is the Model 3. I have it in white. Yeah, just a basic Tesla car. But this is a special car. This is their Roadster. This is their very first car from 2008. And it's the only one that can, it's a convertible. It's a 2-seater. It was the fastest car at the time, I think. Actually, it was the fastest car at the time, except for the Ferrari Enzo. That was faster than the Roadster, but that's like $1 million car. For only I think this was like $109,000 at the time, which is crazy. So cheap now. When this came out, like $100,000 car. This went 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. It was absolutely beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful sports cars. It's actually, they used the Lotus Elise chassis. And so it was a lot like the Lotus, but it was a lot also not like the Lotus. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight it. Very cool. Very awesome car. Amazing company. Awesome. So yeah, that's enough about Tesla. Is there anything else about Tesla? There actually, I have a Cybertruck there, a levitating Cybertruck. It's not levitating right now because it's so hard to get that thing to levitate. Let me see if I can show you.
Don't you got a laser gun too?
It's supposed to levitate. There's like a magnet, but the moment I let go, it's like magnetically like going bad. I don't know. I need to work on that. It's hard. I want to get it to levitate and be on my live stream in the back. It's super cool. But anyways,
don't you got a Tesla flamethrower?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I never highlighted that, huh? Oh, yes. Up here, I have this is a flamethrower. This is the boring. This is actually not by Tesla. This is the Boring Company, which is another company by Elon. And you know what? That is, damn, that is a good video to make. But I will just sidetrack right now.
I
Good
can't believe
epiphany.
you bought one of
Good.
those.
I know that was expensive. That flamethrower was $2,000. I paid for that because
If
I
you
bought it
wanted a
all.
roofing torch, bro, I got a couple in the shed you could have. They're a lot cheaper.
So, you know, for the longest time, when I first got into eVTOLs, I didn't actually believe in eVTOLs. Now I do, of course. But why didn't I not believe in eVTOLs? It was because of Elon. Because Elon said how flying cars are not viable. He explained how they're too loud. It's going to be too busy, too whatever, too unsafe. And for many, many reasons, you know, it's just not viable. And that's why I shared the clip earlier of him saying that he might be building a flying car, which is complete reversal of what he used to say and what I believed in. And now he thinks it's viable and it should be happening. So that's exciting as hell to me. But the Boring Company is a company he started because of this belief that we won't be flying in the air. We will actually be driving underground. And he started this company. It's supposed to be revolutionizing tunnels. The whole idea is to build a tunnel right now costs about $1 billion per mile. $1 billion per mile isn't sustainable. You cannot be building a bunch underground. That's crazy. He wanted to make it an order of magnitude greater than that, going to $1 million a mile. From $1 billion to $1 million, that's 1,000 times less. That is insane. And so I don't know what it actually costs to build a tunnel if it's $1 million a mile yet. It definitely isn't. Because if it is, we would be having a bunch of tunnels under the cities because $1 million a mile is very, very cheap. You know, you imagine $1 billion, you can do 1,000 miles of tunnel underground. You can transform a whole city. But we obviously didn't get that yet. And maybe it's still in the works. But so far, everything I know, this Las Vegas tunnel is quite unsuccessful and people are not using it. So it looks like this dream of his did not succeed. Maybe it will, because like I said earlier, Elon is completely devoted to things and he will not stop and he has unlimited funds for it. But the point is that the Boring Company is that was the dream of it, and it's not going well, and it looks like the opposite is happening. We're not going underground. We are going to be flying in the air. So quite exciting. But the Boring Company flamethrower was just a fun product he made, and I love his stuff, so I had to get it. It is, for me, it is a piece of art. It is like how people have art pieces and paintings on their house. To me, this is an artwork. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the Boring Company.
Boring Company needs to go under the Great Pyramids and see what's going down there. I remember I saw this one History Channel thing. Under the Great Pyramids, there was like a room that had these gold spheres, and they were like made out of a material that was not Earth-like, and they were all placed exactly the correct distance of all of the celestial bodies and planets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Free energy. You know what I'm saying? That's that's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? We could do an ancient aliens up in this place. I seen every episode. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Love
crazy
me
to
some
think the technologies back then, some of them were better than today. I don't know how they built the pyramids. How we can't do that today. All right, before we move on, interesting comment. I like this one. Lost in the East. I don't know if I've seen him here before, but welcome to the channel, buddy. Nice to see you chatting with us. He says here, if HOVR goes to $100 a share, will Anthony buy a house that looks like his green screen?
Yes. There's going to be a family home. I am a big fan of the way things used to be. I think it's very sad that people hate their parents and they're 18. They can't wait to get out. I like how they did back in the old school. You know what I mean? Look at Yellowstone, right? You know what I mean? You want to land and fly Yellowstone, right? But I like the whole idea of family. You get a house, 8 rooms. Everybody lives together, have family businesses, big dinners, 20 people at the dinner. I like that. That's my jam. So yeah, I'm buying a house. Everybody's coming.
He also says flying Yes, and you know what? But before also that, we're gonna have a hover meetup at some point before hover goes to $100. So anyone listening to my channel is welcome. We'll announce when that happens. But when hover starts blowing up, we're gonna be meeting up somewhere in some house. We'll figure that out. But he also says flying cars are awesome, but could you imagine trying to park it at Costco on the weekend? Maybe not on the weekend, but in the weekday you definitely can. So we'll be empty. It'll be empty enough, but you're right. That's funny. And I actually, it's funny because from my balcony right here, and I don't think I can show it. I'm not going to move the camera. It's too much, but I have Costco right in front of me. I can see right now. I can see the Costco parking lot literally right here. So I always see when it's busy and not. I can walk to Costco. I go all the time, just grab one of their smoothies. It's great. Very, very cool. I literally walk there. It's so casual, but it's so funny because sometimes I take the car just because if I'm buying a bunch of stuff, I don't want to walk with all the boxes. So even though I'm so close, I'll take the car just to go from the driveway to the garage, their parking lot to the garage, whatever, side tangent. We are 2 hours in here. I got to get to site of the week. Okay. I picked up 20K hover last week. Wow. Awesome. New on board this ship. Oh, great. That's why I haven't seen you on stream. Thanks for joining. Very cool. Just don't have the meetup in Canada in January and I'll come. Oh, it definitely will not be in Canada. It will be in the
Vegas. Let's go to Vegas.
US. Yes,
Everybody
we'll
made
see.
easy in Vegas.
I think number one choice right now is North Carolina and Mark Berry's house. He's got like a dope house. A lot
Why
of
would
bedrooms.
he want a bunch of randoms at his house?
I don't know.
He's good
Maybe
at
not.
vetting people. He's good at vetting people.
Whatever you want. Let's invite the whole Reddit group. 2,700 people. Come on over.
We're definitely gonna limit it. We'll figure it out. No, we'll definitely cap it at some point. We're not gonna just allow anyone, but yeah, that'll be fun. Anyways, let's move on and end this stream soon. So, site of the week. So I never said that this week is an exciting site of the week, actually, if you guys notice, just to note, because sometimes it seems like I say it every week, but no, it's not. This week's site of the week is not necessarily an awesome site, but I am excited to share it because I like this company a little bit. I don't think they're going to succeed necessarily, but I thought they had a terrible website, absolutely terrible. They rebuilt their site. It's brand new. It's not even that nice, but it's new. So I just wanted to show it. I don't know if you guys have seen this aircraft. I have shown it on the channel once or twice before. This is Light Aviation. I've even brought it up in one of my Brandon Robinson interviews. They are, if you remember Dead Smiles, they're the ones building the 40-passenger aircraft that we spoke about in the interview with Brandon. And how he said he doesn't know how someone can build a 40-passenger VTOL. But yeah, this is it. This is how it looks like. It is quite literally. Well, their idea was very simple. Using the lady, the CEO behind it is she's like an OEM CEO type of lady. Like she has the connections. She knows what it takes to make and produce at mass scale, which is pretty awesome for them because that's something to note. Like prototypes are easy, high volume is very, very hard. So shout out to that. That's something really good to know. But I feel like the design is not great. I feel like it's very simple. It's like a very simple
super
approach.
old school, man. They used to make something just like that like 100 years ago.
Yeah, it's just like taking a conventional airplane and adding, a VTOL to it, through these tilt rotors, just like Joby and Archer in some
It was
sense.
like around the time of the Zeppelin when they were trying to move mail between continents faster than ships or whatever. And then like that was one of the things they had. And then they had like the Zeppelin, and the Zeppelin like beat everybody.
Like everybody, they are also going after moving people, of course, mass transit though. Not, which is actually pretty cool, moving, I guess 40 plus people. I can see how that can be useful.
Breaking news. Granted, it's after hours and it has low volume, but Hover's up 8%, shot up 18 cents. So apparently the people in the Asian market and the European market, they're liking it. Go Hover.
Anthony, you got a little bit of an echo there. I don't know what it is. If we can fix that, but anyways, back to light aviation real quick. Yeah, I don't really like their website. I'm not going to go too much into it. Well, it's not bad. It's pretty simple. It's great.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing like to go crazy about. Like the last websites have shown all the awesome animations and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that they have a new site. It's fairly simple, but it's good. It's way better than what they had. They're also doing cargo, 4.5 tons of cargo. Meet the Sky truck. Pretty cool. That really is a lot of cargo, a lot more than the competition. EMS, a flying hospital, which is pretty cool. That's pretty different than the competition. The competition is really more for taking you to the hospital. This is like, we bring the hospital to you. So that's really cool. I wonder how that is. I don't know if they'll be flying and doing hospital. It could be better. You just go somewhere, land it, you perform the surgery at the spot, and the aircraft
doesn't make sense.
No?
Usually they set up all those tents and stuff, right?
I guess so. So maybe this could be just also it's flying and they can maybe perform surgery while you're flying, but I don't know because you'd be moving. So I'm not sure how effective that is.
It could be
like it's like a mobile spay and neuter clinic, dude.
Yeah. It could be if they're picking up in non-friendly territory. If you're not around friendlies, you can't drop the tent.
You can't be shaking around in the air performing surgery and like bring the hospital to a hostile area where somebody's injured. That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So like you'd want to fly it somewhere and set it up where it's like a forward base.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite an expensive aircraft. It looks like it's going to be $50 million for
Damn.
That's
aircraft.
not too bad, actually.
Actually, yeah, it's actually not too bad if it moves this many people, like for a flying hospital. So
the
it looks like
F-35 is like 80 million.
it looks like they actually secured just last month, actually a month ago from today, pretty much. They secured a conditional purchase worth 500 million euros actually for 10 of its Sky Clinic VTOL aircraft. So my bad, it's actually 50 million euros per aircraft.
Yeah. Plus, they could touch down. If you look at the picture, there was some natural disaster, and they're doing it right there. How long does the surgery take anyway? You could pop down, have the robots cut the guy open, fix it up. You do your surgery in 10 minutes, then you're flying. You know what I mean? So it's not impossible.
Yeah, but what happens if you have one rotor fail? Because it's only got 4 rotors, right?
That's true. Yeah, it's
No
Just
blank.
like starts falling out of the sky.
It's 4 rotors, 2 wings, the front and the back.
I wonder how much lift the wings have. It's definitely going to need some kind of lift.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be better than the V-22 Osprey. I mean, there's probably a little bit redundancy, but I don't know how it would fly on 3 rotors. This is the founder that I mentioned. I saw her in an interview. I liked the way she spoke. I liked her kind of like explanation and vision behind it all. So yeah, it was just quite memorable. So the aircraft, the way it looked and everything about it was quite memorable. So I just wanted to highlight that as Site of the Week, even though their website isn't all that. But it is an improvement. The only thing I will note to the website that is good is the colors, their usage. They have like a brand guideline, a vibe going, unlike a lot of other websites that are kind of all over the place. They clearly have this blue and goldish vibe going on. But anyways, they have 33 pre-orders secured. As we know, that doesn't matter too much. 1.42 billion in pre-orders. A lot of people have crazy pre-orders, but I don't know what that actually translates, because if you can't really sell this and actually make 10 of them, it's hard to make one, let alone 10, let alone 100. But like I said, she is an OEM lady with that background, so good luck to them. Yeah. And careers, are they hiring? I guess just send your CV. No specific job roles. Interesting. Oh, let's see real quick. Their partnerships here. Okay. Well, they don't have any big logos. Nothing to note. All right. I guess we'll move on. All right. Well, that kind of sums it up. Unless there's something new you guys want to share.
Is my
No,
echo
I mean,
gone?
just that guy wanting to know about the pre-market figure, probably trading view is where Anthony's looking. That's where I normally look.
I got Thinkorswim, Charles Schwab, but StockTwits about a month ago, they started updating the after hours stuff instantaneously because they used to only update like later, but like StockTwits is instantaneous too now.
Well, you have to flip like the trading view to boats though, so you can get that nighttime trading aspect out of it.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. I mean, that's the only place I look at it for free. I can look at it on my phone and on the PC is Trading View, and it's just literally flipping it from the NASDAQ trading to the boat trading.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
evening, Kevin Hawthorne from Florida. I'm also from Florida. Pretty cool. Thank you for joining us today. We are actually just about to wrap up here, but
Yeah. Final words. What's that datum? A good CEO hires people that are smarter than him. That's an excellent datum, right? And these guys with God complexes and stuff like that, their organizations crumble because they can't breast hiring people that are smarter than them, right? Too much conflict. Look at Horizon Aircraft. Fantastic organizational culture, right? Those guys got decades of aerospace experience. Everybody from the guys straight out of college, everybody rocking and rolling. But what's they supposed to do? A CEO is supposed to hire people that are smarter than them. We're in the good situation where Brandon's real smart too. The only reason I brought that up is my trading strategy is to buy companies of people that are smarter than me too, right? You know what I mean? The cookie goes the other way, right? So you invest in people you believe in. You invest in people that are smarter than you, right? And I'm old school. Some people can sit in front of a computer all day and day trade, swing trade, buy lots of stuff. I'm old school. I am thankful. I am thankful that I found Horizon Aircraft when I did. It's still early. We're still preseason. We're essentially talking about, yeah, this season is going to be awesome. They got the players, they got the coaches. I can't wait for the first game. Full scale's coming in 7 months and 3.2 weeks now. You know what I'm saying? 1 week, 2 weeks, game time. You know what I'm saying? There's even evidence it could come a little quicker. Brandon said if we had some more money, we would just get done faster. Well, they got some more money now, and they still dropping the same timelines from before they had the money. Maybe they knew it was going to happen. Maybe it was part of the playbook. These guys are thinking 3D chess moves out. This whole thing's done planned. They already know what they're doing. Well, we asked him directly, hey, how much of this stuff you guys got figured out? Plotted with pins, the roadmap getting there. High alert, very, very confident. My man Brandon Robinson said confidence very high. So I invest with them. I'm going with these guys. They're winners. So let's have let's have a great week. You guys both killed it. Good job. Very informative to the people. Last week's live was really good too. Des Miles was at the pulpit dropping bombs. Repeat.
Des Miles, do you have any final words for us?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, make sure you do your research. We're going to have a lot of volatility ahead of us. Our 52-week low is pushing up over the next couple weeks. The bears are getting really scared right now. As we start to amplify and rally up, there's going to be a lot of people trying to scare you back out, guys. All I can say is hold on, keep doing your research, maintain your conviction, and enjoy the ride.
Hell yeah. I'll wrap up here. Lily Funds, thank you for joining us. A bit late. We're just about to end it. AMPG market. Not sure. Not familiar with that one, but
hot ticker pick.
I'll end it with this. Robots are coming. Looks like they are pretty much here now. VTOLs, flying cars, whatever you want to call them, they're coming too. And so I'm excited. This is a very exciting time. Do your research. Learn, like that smell says, and grow your conviction. Like Warren Buffett said, if you find something that is so good, it's so worth investing in, why not go all in? Like, it'd be dumb to not go all in, he said. And I never thought those words would come out of his mouth. But that was quite an epiphany, seeing how many people are all in. Damn, I don't know what this. This is very annoying.
It's not me. I muted myself completely. It's not me. I would check your phones if I was you guys. I'm gonna mute myself now.
Oh, it's Death Smiles. Yeah, it was Death Smiles. Oh, all good, all good. All right. Well,
So what did I do? What's wrong?
Whoa, you did a lot right. You did a lot right. No problem.
it was just what do you call it? The echo. All good, Lily Funds. You can catch the stream. I would recommend, if anyone hasn't, watch the first minute. Just biggest takeaway. Great takeaway from Warren Buffett. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. We're doing this every week. I don't know if it'll be Sunday or Saturday of next week. But yeah, awesome. Thank you all for joining. And as always, guys, stay thinking, question everything, and peace out.